What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms gameplay episode from your very own Shappy Gaming. Today, I'm joined by the one and only Gainz Gaming. Say hello, my friend.
What is going on, guys? Gainz Gaming here. Very happy to be here and joining Shappy on his account.
Welcome, man. Oh, it's so nice to have you back. It has been a minute, but I'm glad that you're here. I have missed hanging out with you. I gotta say, it's not the same without you in my kingdom, man.
I know it's weird. We've been in the same kingdom for I don't even know how long. Was it 2 years or was it less than that?
Oh, it had to have been like 2 years. I swear. It's funny. I refer to you to Mrs. Shappy. I'm like, oh yeah, my friend Gaines. He and I are buddies, and she rolls her eyes at me.
It's funny. My wife does the same exact thing.
I love it. Well, we got a couple fun topics for today's video. The first one that we're going to start with is the one that this video is actually titled, and it is Rise of Kingdoms Hot Takes with Gainz Gaming. Put a lot of effort into that thumbnail. I think it came out pretty good, so we'll see what people think. But without further ado, I'm going to pull up some of the hot takes. Now, to provide a little bit of context for everyone who's watching this video, whether they're watching it back in the past or they're watching it now, these are hot takes that were shared with me from other people. None of these are verbiage from Shappy Gaming or from things that I have said. But I think that's a nice little prelude there. And with our first one, Gainz, hot take number one. You and I have to react to these, talk about whether they're warranted, whether they're right, whether they're wrong. Hot take number one is materials should be refunded when you scrap legendary equipment pieces. What do you have to say to that?
Well, technically they are. It's just 50%.
Oh, yeah, come on. I mean, I made that whole video about how I scrapped equipment and then regretted it almost immediately. What do you think?
I do remember that.
So should you get it all back?
Honestly, I feel like 50% is too low. I think 80% or even 75% is a happy medium. 75% might not work, but I think 80% would be much better than 50. I think 100%, like, I feel like there should be some kind of consequence for crafting legendary and then being like, oh, never mind. Learn from those mistakes, but I don't think 50% is warranted.
So I came up with an idea actually that I suggested, and I don't know if you saw this. Let me combine pieces and use those as like refinement. So if you go through and you're like, hey, I accidentally crafted Shio's boots, that was a mistake, right? Let me combine two equipment pieces of that. So at least you're doing something with those materials, because otherwise they're just kind of going in the trash.
That's true. I think that'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see how that would play out if it were in
Awesome.
game.
Well, let's move on to number two. Chat, you are welcome to engage with this. I have a couple canned ones here that were shared with me, but I want to hear from you guys exactly what you think, because all of you, I'm sure, have some hot takes. So let's move on to the next. Hot take number two. Gainz, I know you've been burned by this. I know I've been burned by this.
Mhm.
Materials should be inscription chests should not have transmutation stones in them. What do you think?
If they're gonna have transmutation stones, it should be 50, not 8 or whatever it is. My goodness.
Three?
I have complained to the developers probably 8 times now. Every single time. I'm like, this needs to stop. This is not okay.
So if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, here, I'll pull up the game for you guys and you can see exactly what I'm referring to. The inscription shard chest, which you spend 180 tokens from legendary armaments, has the potential to give you 0 inscriptions and 5 transmutation stones. And what they don't tell you is there's actually a disproportionate percentage chance of you ending up with transmutation stones and not an inscription. You know how usually they're like, oh, here's the percentages you get of everything. No. They don't show that here, and there's definitely a reason. Again, I wrote none of these. They were all shared directly with me.
Hmm.
So if you guys feel the pain and you've had this happen, let me know in the comment section because I've got some strong feelings here. Okay, this one someone brought up to me, and I think this one's more of a hot take. Tyler throwing shade at me. Bros takes our room temperature. Okay, Tyler, I want to hear from you. OL has better rewards for investment / cost than KVK.
This one's a little bit hotter. I think this one some people will disagree with. I feel like for me, I don't love how Osiris League and Arc of Osiris in general is always on Sunday. Every single time it's on Sunday, and it's at like the worst times. Like it's so for me, it's not better than KVK, but the cost sacrificing an hour or two, I think is better than KVK sacrificing many, many, many hours for the rewards. Because getting 30 million kills, you can't do that in an hour unless you're Baba or something like that. But I mean, the cost to time is definitely a lot better for Osiris League, but I don't think that the overall rewards are better for Osiris League, if that makes sense.
I don't know, man. If you lose an Osiris League, you get like 5 gold heads per time. Plus, you get 2 gold heads from the coins that you get. So that's 7 per weekend, assuming you lose in the first 3 rounds. That's 36 gold heads. I think you don't get much more than that in KVK. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you get much more than that.
Feel like using gold heads is a difficult way to measure the rewards because I don't think gold heads are that great of a reward, to be completely honest.
Are any of the KVK rewards any good? I mean, I guess materials.
I think the conquest coins are the best rewards, as well as the what are they called? The stones.
The Otarks are good. What do you mean?
The Otark rewards, yeah, those are good too.
Bro, did you just say the conquest coins are good? I think I have 14 conquest coins. What am I doing wrong here?
Well, I think just in terms of rarity, because you're getting 3 gold heads a day, every single day from VIP. And so I feel like comparing 12 days worth, like the 36 heads that you were referencing, 12 days worth of VIP, of just logging in every single day, versus the rewards you get in KVK, I think the KVK rewards are better in terms of that quality.
I feel that. Also, welcome Andy, and there was someone else who I just missed. Seems my subscriber ping thing is working. And Tyler, welcome to the Shappy Squad, y'all. Very cool. Okay. So that's number 3. I think we're pretty aligned here that OL is probably better, but I hear you. I mean, I currently have like 960 gold heads that I'm sitting on, which will come into play when we talk about our next topic. But first, I want to turn up the temperature just a little bit for some of those saying these are lukewarm. So here's hot take number 4. I had to give credit where credit was due. You're not sucking because of your crystal tech. You just suck at fighting. This was shared directly to me from Lola in 1079. Props given. If they watch back and they see this, then great. What do you think about this?
I agree. I think there's to a certain extent, I should clarify. I think to a certain extent, I agree. But crystal tech, if you're a whale and you have max crystal tech, you could just leave your city with City Keeper. No, nothing else, just City Keeper. You'll probably trade at 30, 40%. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but you're not going to trade at 2%, right? Versus if you're somebody that's free to play and you leave with, let's say Charles Martel, and you just let it sit there, you're probably going to trade at 5% or less. Probably. So I feel like just having crystal technology does give you a huge, huge, huge advantage. But like you could have max tech and still trade worse than somebody that just bought pop-ups.
I think that's fair. I don't know. I've also seen people with, it's really those people in the middle. Like, okay, me, for example, my crystal tech is usually okay. And I always, I got swarmed by whales. No, I just fought terribly, right? I've had that happen before. I've complained to you about it. I do think there's a sort of an element there of maybe you just suck at fighting.
I think it's also how you want to fight because for you, for example, I don't think you suck at fighting. I think you fight like you're a max tech and you're not. I think I've told you that many times. You
Yeah.
fight like you're a mega whale, but you don't have the crystal tech of a mega whale. You have really, really good gear. You have really good armaments. You have all the meta commanders, but you fight like you're max tech. And I think that's both good and bad because you're the person that is tanking a lot of the times, but you're taking really bad trades, which makes it feel like you suck at fighting when in reality you're just tanking when the max tech players should be tanking.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely tank for Yeehan Logics. If they're still in the chat, we'll see. Um, they're two whales and the leaders of our kingdom in 3265. But yeah, I do think Tyler just made a good point. Crystal Tech does allow you to fight worse. I think that's fair.
Yes, 100%.
Awesome. See, we do have a couple of hot takes here for everyone who says, "Oh, Shappy, I got you." This next one's also a little toasty, I think. I know I feel this way. I don't know if you feel this way, but we spoke a little bit about it in your stream earlier. If you guys haven't already, do go check out Gainz' channel. We just came from his stream on his. ROK combat is boring and lackluster.
Honestly, it's tough because I think fighting in lower seed KVKs, we talked about this in my stream as well, but fighting in an A seed kingdom, I think is more enjoyable than Imperium. And you kind of brought this up in my stream where you like the smaller skirmishes better. I completely agree. I would rather fight zoomed in and be able to see exactly what I'm targeting, how my troops are aligning, rather than fighting in dot mode 24/7 and just clicking on the closest one and then backing out, clicking on the closest one, backing out, etc. I would rather fight zoomed in, but in Imperium KVKs, the small skirmishes are like huge skirmishes in smaller KVKs. So I somewhat agree, but I think in smaller KVKs, the fighting is a lot more enjoyable in those smaller fights.
Yeah. I guess the question I ask here is what do they do about it? Like, I play Age of Empires, and I think what Age of Empires does really well is they do handle combat. I mean, it doesn't look all that great, but like when you're attacking a structure, they have trebuchets, they have different types of like siege units you can use that are not like troops, but are like units that you can individually have from an alliance. I also think Lilith has some of this. Like the arrow towers are kind of cool. Not ranged combat. Don't get ahead of yourselves. But the arrow towers, like that you can convert a flag to, are kind of cooler. The quick burn. I think where Rise of Kingdoms is really good is when you do get into that structure fighting, right? You're trying to take down a flag, you're trying to take down a pass. It's the open field fighting that's just, as you said, you just drag in, you drag out. You drag in, you see all red, and you see sad faces. And then you send troops back out, and you wait 5 minutes for them to get there, and then you die again. It just, you know.
Well, it's kind of like altar fighting. I really enjoy altar fighting because it's only one march. It's a lot less laggy, and you can fight zoomed in, and you can trade really, really well doing it because you're only controlling one march. I feel like I don't know how they would fix this besides fixing lag, which is obviously a much bigger issue than they can really address. I don't know how much they can address it, but it's obviously an issue for everything. But I think maybe this is just me going off on a tangent, but I think that one reason, this could be completely wrong, but one reason why they make fighting so expensive is to help reduce the lag. And that might be more of a hot take, is that they intentionally make fighting extremely expensive to reduce the amount of marches on the field. Because, like, for me, for example, I can't field 6 or 7 marches, not only because of the crystal tech, but also I just can't afford it. I don't have the resources or the speed ups to do so. But if you make it so expensive that I can only run 3 or 4 marches, that's going to reduce the lag itself.
Maybe that could be. I mean, I definitely hear you on the healing cost, right? They make healing costs so prohibitive that you really can't go balls to the wall quite as much. So I could see that. I think that could be realistic. I don't know. I think Lilith has to figure out how to make open field fighting more fun.
I would agree.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. I think we got one more hot take. Again, we are taking submissions in the chat if anyone has one that they want to add. This is one that I've heard. Hot take: the fact that you can't inscribe anything but the scroll is dumb. I'm almost certain this one came from Bus Driver.
I think this is the coldest take you have so far, Shappy.
Oh, come on.
I think everybody can get on this bus.
Yeah, I think, God, inscriptions are such a failure, man. They really are. I think, I don't know if you and I have talked about this, but like both inscriptions and the refinement system are like easily two of Lilith's biggest failures in the creation of Rise of Kingdoms. Just like, do it right or don't
And they're
do it
new
at
too.
all. You know?
I agree. I think they could have made it so much better if they just took an extra week to be like, oh, is this actually smart? Oh, no, we can make this way better. I think it could look completely different.
Yeah. I do think maybe this is a little bit of a hotter take. There are only 1.5 useful formations in Rise of Kingdoms.
Yep.
That's it. Maybe that's a hotter take. I know Chiskel and Chadsky will be like, no, Delta formation. No.
I don't know. Mr. Siege might come after you too.
There's 1.5 useful formations in the game. And newsflash, Wedge is the main one. I do think that's another one where like they added it and they couldn't get there. They just couldn't. They could have differentiated them more. They could have made it like 10% normal attack damage. They could have had Echelon be somewhat useful for something, but it sucks. And then they added 2 healing ones. Why? Nobody knows. You find me someone that has a max circle formation. Please. I encourage it.
I do think the conversion stones are nice. I think that was a good touch. And I feel like that was them kind of backpedaling on how poor the armament system was set up in terms of like, I have a really, really good inscription on the circle formation because it was a random roll. And now I can't use it because it's a circle formation. But now you can change it to wedge or you can change it to the arch formation. I do think that was a good addition.
I guess. I don't know. They added it so you could wish list specific things in your travels. So I don't really get formations that I don't need anymore anyhow. I think it was nice in terms of like fixing the issues that they had originally. But like, I don't know, man. But that concludes our hot take portion of the video. If you guys are enjoying, be sure to drop a like and do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Honestly, what are you guys doing? Come on. Join the Shappy Squad.